Guys, it is true that we do have a bullish pattern that is forming on Bitcoin, but I'm not fully convinced that it will play out, at least not like a lot of people were expecting. So I feel the need to update you even before Wall Street opens this week and discuss what might actually be playing out in the upcoming days here. So I'm going to give you some warning signs to keep in mind and some price levels to watch closely. If they're supported or broken, that's going to determine how happy Bitcoin gets over the next few days. Road Dog Crypto. Guys, looking on the 1 hour, it looks impressive, doesn't it? We've got a head and shoulders pattern right here that has broken up above the neckline and retested on the 1 hour. Looks bullish, right? Or is it? The thing that has got me concerned that I really want to bring up is that we have an upward move in price action, but we don't have that volume. The volume is decreasing here. What we really wanted to see was an increase of volume during this breakout. And according to Thomas Bukowski, look for at least a 10% increase to kind of confirm that things are going in the right direction here. And another reason I'm putting this video out is because I did release a chart pattern video just a day or two ago discussing this particular pattern, but we didn't bring indicators into that mix. We didn't bring other elements into this. This was only about patterns. I want to make sure that nobody actually took that as trading advice. So let's take a closer look so that we're not overly bullish about what may be going to play a little bit to the downside. So if you've been watching my channel for any time at all, you know that I like to start on the bigger time frames. And I want to draw your attention to what's going on the 8-hour time frame. We got a red dot confirmed on Market Cipher. Stochastics are at the top, coming down. MACD is looking bearish, getting ready to do a bearish cross, so it seems. And our RSI is also just now touching that yellow moving average line, getting ready to dip below it and possibly go bearish. But at the moment, RSI is at 46% on this 8-hour chart. Anything under 50 means that bears are in control. Now we can kind of zoom back into that 1 hour, and let me show you what I see that can quite possibly be playing out over the next few days. Now, the good news on the 1 hour chart is that we have not broken below this neckline. So you can definitely count on it that we are coming back to retest that. So we're looking at areas around this Fibonacci level, 20,700 right through there. However, let me show you this. Okay, on the immediate time frame, we can see that we are in a rising channel. We broke out of that. Now there is a measured move, which brings us back down to this level about 2,700 right in that area, which also brings us back to retest this trend line. The possibility is that we could break above that if all of our indicators are cooling off, more than likely trade sideways since we did not have a very strong breakout. And looking at the current indicators, we can see on the 1 hour that the RSI is coming down to 35. So this may be something that plays out. We could just be getting a slight retest right here. Now this pattern, the inverse head and shoulders forming a bottom, does have a throwback rate of 65%. 6.5 times out of 10, it will come back to retest this trend line. So we may be okay, but keep in mind what we just saw on the 8 hour, that things are starting to take a turn down. And those higher time frames have more weight than the lower ones, such as this 1 hour. Let's look at another possibility about what may be playing out here. Before I start drawing on the charts, I want to draw your attention over to the pattern site where we're looking for busted patterns. These are head and shoulders patterns that bust, they fail. We did not get that 10% rise. So we are in the neighborhood of likely possibilities that we could get a failure from this pattern. But again, that is not confirmed until that neckline is broken. All right, I'm going to show you a little bit of advanced trend line magic here. Starting from the bottom here, connecting my dots, we've got this trend line. Now, order of operations, second trend line to second bottom, we've got a new trend line. When we take this trend line, copy it, bring it up, just to test to see its validity, we see the touches here do confirm this channel has just been broken. So there is a measured move for this as to where we can be possibly headed as this upward channel, which would break down about 65% of the time. So we take the measured move, put it where we broke out of the pattern, and we come down to this area. Now I'm also going to take a Fibonacci measurement from this bottom to this top, carry this over, and you can see we line up with this 618. Now, if you caught my Fibonacci video, that you know that price action comes down and can retest these areas down to the 0.5 and even down to the 0.618. We may actually see this happen before we start getting a move up. It's a possibility. I just don't want everyone to see an inverse head and shoulders, and especially since I mentioned it in one of my videos, without going into all the extra details one needs to know to confidently make a trade, there can be some downside action to this. And given the fact that we broke down out of a rising channel, it's very probable that we will be testing one of these levels, possibly even down to the 0.618. Now, I also want to bring us back over to the DXY, the dollar index. I've got it pulled up on the 4 hour. The dollar is going 24 hours a day, just like crypto. We are in this very potential cup and handle formation, and it's kind of found a leveling out place right here in between the 618 and the 786. And if this does break to the upside, if we see an upswing on this and it breaks out of this trend line here, that's not good for Bitcoin. Remember, the dollar and Bitcoin, they trade in opposite directions. Not saying it's going to happen anytime in the near immediate future, but we've got to keep our eye on that. If you're trading, you especially need to be aware of this. Now, another thing worth noting is that the Bitcoin dominance has totally fooled me, and it gave us a strong move down. Now, currently, we have broken out of this channel and are doing a bearish retest. It all depends. If we break back up into this and retest it, we could get a strong back move up in Bitcoin dominance. If it cannot break past this point and it gets a rejection, Bitcoin dominance will continue down. The surprising thing is that as Bitcoin dominance has been falling, the price of Bitcoin has been going up. This could have a beneficial effect on altcoins, and it's given us a short little altcoin pump, and you can see that when we look at total 2 right here. As the dominance went down, total 2 has started going up. My concern with this is that this is also in a bearish pattern. We can expect altcoins to take a little bit of a dip. However, showing a little bit of green here on the Ichimoku, they may get a bounce up too over the next coming week or two. But now I've zoomed out, and this may look a little messy because I'm drawing this over all the other stuff that we looked at, but we zoom out on the daily, and I've changed these lines to be thick red lines so you can see it. We've got a rising wedge, and that of course is a bearish pattern. 7 out of 10 times this can break to the downside. That's what I'm looking at. However, there are a few things that can counter this, but keep in mind that our stochastics are still at the top, even though they can get pinned up there and stay there for a while. That's not really a great sign for us right now. Money flow is starting to come down, and this is on the daily, remember. We do have a bullish cross here on the MACD and a little bit of lift, but it doesn't seem to be a very strong move. And our RSI on the daily is pointing back down. We know that the sloping head and shoulder patterns, even the inversed ones like this, don't play out as well as the ones that are more level. So just something to keep in mind, and just to kind of rehash what I've said, we're looking for a bounce here, but there is a probability we may just trade sideways for a little while. Should we break this, expect a lot more downside, at least down to around the 19,300 area. We will get a better feel as the market opens tomorrow, and especially going into Tuesday and Wednesday. That's when we'll really start seeing how things are starting to play out. So if you're trading, be cautious. Probably only day traders and scalpers should be out there. A lot of us are just kind of sitting on the fence waiting for confirmation, and it's not a bad idea. That's what I wanted to share with you today, and I hope that it's of some value and some use to you. And until the next time, my name is Lane, your Crypto Road Dog, signing off. Be blessed, be positive, and remember, you got this, baby. Road Dog Crypto.